This neighbor is a murderous, homicidal bitch. If your throat gets swollen enough, you can't breathe. And you die. I was even imagining my life without you and it was really bad. Who's gonna scratch my back at night? Dan doesn't even know this story, you guys. Dan has no idea the facts I'm about to lay down. This family went through multiple near-death experiences in the past week. We almost lost people in this family. They literally almost died.
That's not a...
It's not an exaggeration.
It's not.
This is, I mean, the title of this video is dramatic, but the content, the story of this video is even more dramatic, okay? And I really advise you guys, if you guys are watching this on your phone, to watch with both hands on your phone because you're gonna drop your jaw, you're gonna drop your phone, and unless you have a Casetify phone case, your phone's really not gonna be protected. Let me tell you about my Casetify phone case. My phone has been protected by Casetify for months now, and I swear to you, I am one of the... For years now, yeah. If I'm gonna drop my phone, which you know that I will, whether it's decorating this Christmas tree, I got my phone up on the stepladder, I'm gonna drop it. The only case that I trust with my phone is a Casetify phone case. The world's slimmest, most protective phone case, and it looks so freaking cute. It's got 2-layer construction of Chi-Tech. It's the Chi-Tech 2.0 technology. Now you're thinking, what does that mean? I don't know all these techie terms. Well, let me tell you. If you guys get the Casetify Impact case, this is drop test approved for 6.6 feet in the air. If you got the Ultra Impact case, that's 9.8 feet in the air. I literally drop my phone every morning when I come down the stairs. That's how clumsy I am, and absolutely nothing has ever happened to my phone. The coating outside of this case is also antimicrobial, which means it eliminates 99% of bacteria that lands on it. And if you are thinking, well, Stephanie, tell me about the sustainability. Well, I'm here for you because Casetify's new Impact and Ultra Impact cases are 65% made of recycled or plant-based material, which is kind of gnarly. So you can feel good about this phone case. They even have compostable phone cases, and they have like a case back program where you can send them a phone case that's not even Casetify, and they will reuse the material to make beautiful phone cases like this. They always do like collaborations. You can even personalize it. You can throw your pictures on your phone case. You can throw your dog's pictures on your phone case. They also have a lot of huge collabs with huge brands like NASA, BTS, KFC, but they also collaborate with a lot of smaller designers, so you really get the best of both worlds. I mean, I get lost in their website. This one is my new favorite right now, and it just says, baby, and guess what? I forced him to match. He's so embarrassed, but I'm like, why? Look at us, we could be on the phone. Hello?
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. They're also 5G compatible and wireless charging compatible. So you can just throw it on that wireless charger and you're good to go. Make sure to go to casetify.com/mango to get 15% off your new favorite phone case. Thank you, Casetify, for sponsoring today's video. And let's get into the almost dying, because we almost died. Here's what happened. I try so hard not to do and I almost die right now. I try really hard not to do clickbait titles, but this one I genuinely do not think it's clickbait. Maybe you think I'm being dramatic, but just listen to the story. So the other day, we're sitting around, okay? We got my fiance there, Tiffany's there. We're just having a good time, family-friendly stuff. And Tiffany, all of a sudden, she's like dropping her jaw. She's confused, she's shocked, and I'm like, what's going on? They start rapidly speaking in Mandarin, and I'm like, I feel really left out, you know? It sounds really, really freaking serious. Then all he says to me in like random increments is,
so my mom and my dad.
And then he'll listen to her speak in Mandarin.
And my grandpa are dying.
And I'm like, wait, what? What's happening right now? So I'm like, this has got to be a joke. He's freaking kidding. I don't understand. And he's like,
they ate.
I'm like, they what?
Toxic poison.
I'm like, toxic poison?
They were poisoned.
Who poisoned them? Okay, so let me tell you the backstory. Once I got the full story, I was in shock. And the fact that they did not immediately go to the emergency room, I tell you, the woman was too stunned to speak. That was me. So the whole story goes like this. You know how Grandpa Mango, GrandpaMango.com, which, by the way, GrandpaMango.com, if you guys want to support his emergency room bill now. We're having a Black Friday sale from the 25th to the 29th. We're sending out emails. Anyway, everything's like 40% off, even
Originals
digitals.
Are 50%
Originals are 50% off. We're like, Grandpa, are you sure? He was like, yeah, let's just go all out. Back to the story, right? You guys know that he's obsessed with plants. You've seen the garden. You know, I'm gonna link the video. You've seen the massive garden. There was at one point in this video,
I should have seen it coming. I really should have.
I said, wow, a banana leaf plant. I said, a banana leaf plant. Everyone in the comments was like, that's a fucking taro plant. That's a fucking lotus plant. Everybody had their own opinion about what that plant was.
Elephant ear.
Yeah, guess what, guys? Everybody was wrong unless you guessed elephant ear plant.
Wait.
Grandpa even literally said,
Yes.
I will take it out and bring it to your backyard.
He said, I will take it out, put it into a pot,
Yes.
and bring it to you as a gift.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's so sweet. A banana leaf plant. Okay, so remember this, right? So I don't know how this happened, but they were talking to a neighbor. And this neighbor is a murderous, homicidal bitch. Because this neighbor goes, hey, that plant that you have in your backyard, you can eat it. And so they're like, wait, really? He's like, yeah, it's a taro plant and you can eat it. Like, you can take the leaf, you can take the roots, you can eat the whole plant. I mean,
And
you
my
guys... Yeah.
grandma confirmed it.
Oh yeah, very suspicious right there, okay? So the neighbor's like, yeah, for sure, I eat it all the time. Like, go ahead, eat it. It's like free vegetables. It's like free food in your backyard, like nature's gift to you. So they go into the backyard. They're like, are you sure? And then grandma's like, yeah, I mean, you can totally eat it, for sure. Grandma, is there a life insurance on Grandpa? I want to know, okay, Grandma? They take the plant. Now, this is the comical thing. If someone were to tell you that you can eat a plant, would you have everyone in your family try it at the same time? 3, 2, 1, let's go? Or would you have just one person try it?
One person.
One person, right? Like a guinea pig, right? Yeah. No. So apparently anything Grandpa Mango does, Dad Mango has to do it. So my fiance's dad had to do whatever his dad does.
They're best friends.
They're literally best friends. It's really cute, yeah.
They literally broke the leaf off. So you eat this, apparently you eat the stern.
The stem.
Stem.
The stern. He said the stem.
The stem, okay? So he break the leaf.
Yeah.
He break a part of the stem, and then he break that in half. He bit one, and then he handed the other one to my dad.
So he hands them to the dad, and they both bite it, right?
So my
Now-
grandpa bit it
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
And then
And
handed
then-
one.
My dad bit it right after him, maybe 3 seconds after
3
him.
seconds after, right? So they both bite it. Now here's the thing, if you Google elephant ear plant,
I
okay,
hope they didn't die.
you think that we just had 3 people die this month and I'm just over here still filming and I'm mentally fine?
You're right.
You think that I'm just mentally great? So the symptoms said, if you touch the juice of an elephant ear plant, you could experience a burning sensation and swelling on the skin that it came in contact with. Just the juice of the leaf. So then, if you bite an elephant ear plant, which is common for children or pets to do, not full-grown 70-year-old and 50-year-old men, but that's fine. We're gonna go over that. They have these very small, very sharp calcium oxalate crystals that will stick to the sides of your mouth and your tongue, causing a burning reaction, and it causes everything to get swollen. But if you swallow it, your throat starts getting swollen, and if your throat gets swollen enough, you can't breathe and you die. So they each take a bite of this. The crystal shards explode in their mouths. They don't even swallow it. They don't even digest it. I'm sure some of the juice ran down into their throats, but they weren't just like, let me swallow that. They spit it out. They just plop onto the ground on all fours. So they're all on all fours outside in the garden, throwing up, coughing. They couldn't even talk.
Like
They couldn't
literally
even...
in 5 seconds.
In 5
they
seconds.
were both.
Yes.
They were both on the ground.
Side by side. I saw the picture. You're thinking, how did you get a picture? So his mom, my fiance's mom, is on the inside. Now, I genuinely want to know what was going on in her mind at the time, but maybe she thought it was just funny.
She was confused.
Yeah, she was confused.
She was like, okay, what are these two up to
Yeah,
now?
so of course, like any other confused person, she takes a picture. She's like, you know what?
Can you show them what it looks like?
So it's literally 2 of them in the garden, and the picture is through the window looking out into the garden, and they're side by side, right next to each other, going like this. We were told we are not allowed to post this picture, so I can only recreate it to you.
Ready?
Oh my god. They're praying to someone, bro.
So this happens, they don't do anything about it.
My dad and my grandpa couldn't even talk. So they couldn't tell my mom what happened. all they do is like gasping for air on the ground. So my mom was freaking out. My mom thought they were literally dying. So they finally caught some breath. So my dad explained they ate that plant right there. That's why they're like dying. They got poisoned. And then my mom's like trying to give them water or something, let them catch a breath. And then that's when my mom called my sister. Like, my mom was like,
Your dad and your grandpa are literal idiots.
they ate this freaking plant in the backyard and they almost lost their life. Because they couldn't breathe, their throat was locked. So they were on the floor, like sitting there drinking water for like 30 minutes. That's why my mom telling my sister, I think they're okay, and that's why when me and my sister say, why don't they go to hospital? What are they doing? Are you crazy? And while we're Googling online, elephant ear can cause death.
You could die.
So I'm like, what are you doing? Take them to the hospital. My dad and grandpa are so stubborn.
You know Chinese?
You know Chinese? He said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like to go to hospitals.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're dead. Doctor is a scam unless their kids are doctors. You know?
True.
So,
Facts.
and meanwhile, their whole mouth is still like burning. So basically this doesn't go away. It just sticks to your mouth and it just doesn't go away.
Like the needles stick. There's like tiny microscopic needles.
Yeah.
So then all of that happens. They finally convince them to go to the emergency room. But they're thinking, okay, like if they just show up to the emergency room, maybe they're not gonna explain it well. So my fiance drives skirt. This is out of nowhere. I think this all happened in my head in like 5 seconds. I'm like, what's happening? Now he's leaving. Now we're going to the ER. So he gets to the emergency room. They tell the ER receptionist like their pain level is at a 10 out of 10. Like it was dead serious, especially because Grandpa Mango, I mean, he's old. He's a grandpa,
No,
right?
my dad and my grandpa got there first.
Yeah.
And my dad, with his broken English, explained to them that they ate something, now this and this. And I think they think that he has an allergic reaction. This is poisonous. It's not like an allergic reaction. They were poisoned.
So my fiance gets there and the ER makes him wait 6 hours. So then my fiance goes to the vending machine, buys 2 bottles of water, thinking, okay, like maybe, because their throat is burning, they can barely talk. They're gasping for air, okay, while they're waiting at the ER, which I'm confused. Why don't they just go to a regular doctor and not pay ER prices? Because a regular family doctor, you wouldn't have to wait 6 hours unless they're like a super famous one that everybody freaking loves. So I was so confused, but they said poison, you could only go to the ER, like it was this whole thing, right? So they're waiting in the lobby of the ER. My fiance's trying to do anything to make sure that they feel a little bit more comfortable. He brings them water. They take 1 sip and immediately both of them do the same thing, just like how both of them ate the plant. Both of them were laying on the ground. They both put the water bottle up to their neck, the cold water bottle, and they're just sitting in the lobby with a cold water bottle. There's a picture.
So I found this so comical and I took a picture.
Oh my god, they look like brothers.
They literally look like best friends or something. You know what's even more comical? We went out to dinner with them the next day.
The next day?
The next day.
They can't really talk.
So they get into the ER, into one of the rooms, right? And then the nurse on the phone gives them a bunch of medicine, gives them a bunch of like ice.
And the nurse,
Yeah.
I talked to like maybe 3-4 nurses to try to rush them. Like, what's going on? Like, they're getting poisoned. So after I explained every situation, they all give me the same look and the same question. Why would they do that?
No.
Their neighbor told them that they could do that.
So they go into the room, right? And I'm on the phone so I can hear this. And the nurse gives them medicine and they can barely talk, right? But my fiance's dad looks at his grandpa with this little cup of medicine with his dad, right? And goes, cheers. And they cheers the medicine and they take the medicine together.
That event made me realize I'm the adult.
No, but the thing is, this happened the whole week because my mom was in Korea. Like there was a whole police issue there. It was honestly pretty freaky, okay? But she was calling me and my sister going, what should I do? What do I do? I'm so scared. Can you stay on the phone with me? And I was like, wait, this is like, you're not even going to like an American police station where they speak English, you know, like this is in Korea. You can communicate with these people. But I was like, you know, you get to a point in life where the children become the parents.
Yeah.
And that's when I felt it. And I was like, oh, at least you have some time, you know? because it's just my mom has always been 16 at heart. But then it just hit 3 days later. We're all sitting there like, we need to babysit our parents now. Like, we can't let them just be free people.
That's crazy.
Because they're wild. And then that's not all, right? So my fiance leaves. He's at the ER all day. And I'm like, oh, Tiffany, like, you should go home, right? Like, what are you doing? There's no point in you staying, or like, you should go to the ER. And she's like, no, I don't want to like leave you alone because my mom was gone. So it's creepy. Like, I know you're anxious, you're scared. And I was like, no, I'm like a big girl. Like, I can do it. And then the dogs start barking at the front door. So I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna stop telling her to go home, you know? And hopefully she doesn't go home, but I'm not gonna tell her that, you know? And Tiffany was like, here, this is what I do when I'm scared and I'm home alone, right? And she goes, hey! We're literally sitting there and both of us are talking. I'm like, Dad, come downstairs.
Come downstairs, Daddy.
Tiffany's like, I have a knife. I'm like, and I got a gun. We're ready. And then, you know the shades in the office? She runs over to the shades and she goes, boom! She opens it and goes, boom! And I get so scared because she didn't even tell me what she was doing. And I look at her like, what did she do? What's happening? And she goes, you gotta scare them first. And I was like, that's actually so smart. So like the whole night, we're trying to scare these imaginary robbers. So then it starts pouring rain because we're no longer in LA, right? And I was so worried. So my fiance's on the way home from the emergency room. There's more to the story, can you believe it? The amount of rain that was pouring, and I'm getting stressed out. I don't wanna call him because it's dangerous if I call him while he's on the road. I don't wanna text him. And then I got logged out of the Tesla app for some reason, so I can't even track him. He could be anywhere. So I go on Waze. And I'm looking up all the accidents. I'm routing from the hospital to our house and I'm looking at if there's been any car crashes, right? Maybe they'll give a description like, gray Tesla hit, you know, white Lexus, you know, I'm like, ah! So I'm freaking out, I'm looking at all of it and Tiffany's like, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, right? I genuinely was so freaked out because I'm thinking, with this luck, I feel like something bad's gonna happen. And I was even imagining my life without you and it was really bad.
Who's gonna scratch my back at night?
Then I'm like, okay, finally gets home. He's safe. He was like, that was so rough. Can you explain how rough it was?
Bro, it was rough.
Like people were just pulled over on the side of the roads because it was that much rain.
Because my wind swiper couldn't keep up with the rain. Yeah.
So he's like, okay, that was the worst ever. Like, Tiffany, you can't go home. Like, she doesn't live that far from us, but he was like, nope, you can't go home. Like, it's too dangerous out there. So we're waiting for the rain to go away. But, I mean, I can kind of hear it, but I can't hear it really well. So I open this back door. I'm like, I gotta open it in the middle of the night to just hear the rain, see if it stops so she can go home. So I open it up. Tiffany looks outside, and she starts screaming. And then she starts screaming in Mandarin, and then all she says in English, can you believe this, okay? She says, he's staring at me! I'm like, who the fuck is in our backyard? I'm imagining some dude just in the rain, standing.
I would too.
Because it's pitch black, I mean, it's raining. I don't know. So I'm like, he's staring. So I slam it shut, I lock it, and I'm like, what the frick is happening? She starts screaming at him in Mandarin, and I'm like, again, I'm so confused. And then all I hear is like instant noodle. Like she keeps saying instant noodle. Instant noodle was staring at me. Like she's trying to explain to me instant noodle.
Let me show you guys.
Instant noodle.
What
would you imagine if you heard that?
I would think that she's on drugs or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you.
She's on drugs.
Let me show you what she means by instant noodle. This is Chinese instant noodle.
Wow, that's adorable.
So what do you think
Do you
was
know what
staring
I
at
said?
her?
She saw a raccoon.
Yeah.
Yes!
She saw a raccoon. Wow.
The raccoon though was on our porch steps
Are you serious?
trying to head up, and she said the raccoon had stopped, stared at her, and she
She
stared
said
at
they
him.
just stare at each other for 3 seconds.
And then she said that her first thought was,
Why is he staring at me?
and then she was like, what is that? And then she's like, instant noodle is staring at me. He's staring at me.
It's really great.
Here's the crazy thing. We moved here and everyone refers to our house as in the city. Like I'm always like talking to my sister and she's like, no, I don't want to go in the city today to like come visit our house. So she's always like, no, like I don't want to go in the city today. Like there's so much traffic in the city. In this city, guys, we've had deers, raccoons,
Yes.
we've had a bunch of possums. There's always,
Cats.
almost every night, there's a stray cat meeting. I am trying to convince them to come inside somehow, but cats don't like me, okay? There's a stray cat meeting and it's really cute. They gather on our porch and they just have discussions. I've seen like 10 different species of roaches. Okay. Yeah, the pest dude comes over and he's like, oh yeah, that's a wood roach. They're harmless. They're not gonna infest you. They honestly got in here by accident. I'm like, well, accidentally shoot him, please. I feel like I'm literally living in Animal Planet in this house. So this was our near-death experience. It was really intense. Oh, and then let me tell you, yesterday we wake up 6 in the morning.
Oh,
we go to the DMV. Okay, we go to the DMV. We skirt because we gotta change our California license to a Georgia license. Nobody there. We park. Then on the way out, I'm like so excited. I'm ready to go home, have a good day. Like we woke up so early, like I'm feeling productive. And this guy, there's literally a curb right next to the car, and he just decides, let me just drive on top of it. Let me just ATV this. Like, you know those Jeep commercial, the Jeep Wrangler, you know, and then you see them on the hills. He's like, I'm gonna do that, but in a DMV parking lot. So he scrapes the entire rim of the tire. Now this irks my gears. Shit like this drives me insane because it's carelessness. So I'm like, man, don't do that again. And he's like, yeah, that was my bad. So we get back into the car and like, yeah, and the whole car ride, he's like,
Hey, like, don't be mad. Like, sorry about that, babe. Like, love you. Let me buy you like a nice lunch or something.
and I'm just acting like I'm bitched. I'm like, you're so annoying. Like, ugh. Then we get home and he's like, oh, I gotta go to the lawyer's office. So I'm like, okay, bye, have a good one, right? And I was like, drive safe, drive safe. I get a text message 10 minutes later because it's literally right there at the lawyer's office. And the first text message I get is, babe, listen, don't kill me. And I'm like, why would I kill you? I'm so innocent, I'm so dumb. I'm like, why would I kill you? And he's like, so listen, okay, here's the thing. I didn't even see it. I'm like, what did you not see? I'm like texting, what are you saying? What did you not see? And he goes, so like, can I show you my camera first? And he sends me a picture of the backup camera on the car, and I don't see anything. And he's like, so then he sends me pictures of the car.
let me show you
And
let me show you the picture.
Forked up.
This is what I see when I crack. But there's still room behind it, right?
Right.
So I'm so confused. This is what I see down there. This ledge sticks out. So my back bumped into that, which I can't see it on camera.
So then I asked him, and I don't think he checked. So a lot of places like this where they have a ledge that's sticking
No, it
out,
doesn't say.
like on the bottom it says like head in parking only. So
You
or
see?
there's like a small sign.
Oh.
Yeah, because if the hood of your car is usually lower, you know, and you
But
can
you
see
saw
it.
the sign on
yeah,
there.
but
It
there's no
doesn't say.
sign. Like not even on the ground, so there was no sign. So I was like, okay, that's really weird. How can you even get mad at that? Because that's not even carelessness. That's just like really. In Korean, we call it 진짜 그냥 재수 없어.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not even bad. Like it's like what the f kind of luck, right? And yesterday he was putting up this Christmas tree. I don't tell my dad that. I'm on the phone with my dad, and I'm like, yeah. And also like there's this like Korean saying where small accidents like this prevent a bigger accident. So it's like you can't always, you know, 100% be safe in your car. So if you have like small accidents like this, that means it's making up, and if you didn't have this, maybe you would have a big accident. So they're like, yeah, it's fine guys, like it's the small accident saving you from the big one. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, so I bet your fiance is like really down today. And I look up and this guy's on a step ladder putting up ornaments, listening to Christmas songs. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Really sad.
And then my mom thinks it's really comical to tell me every 2 seconds, your grandma's in the garage. And I'm like, what? So here's what's going on. We've got the heaters on now because it's winter time. We're gonna have a memorial service with my grandma this weekend, I believe. But before that, we are keeping the ashes in the house. But they said that if you keep it in a warm temperature, maggots start to come out of the ashes. So every part of this house is pretty warm because we've been keeping the heater on, you know? And so my mom said the only cool place in this house is the garage. But why does she tell me every 2 seconds that her mom's in the garage? Like the other day, it was just silent, and she goes, 할머니 차고에 있어. And I'm like,
I know, you told me already.
and then one time we went out, there was just soup in a pan in the garage. Why is there soup in the garage? And my mom goes,
Harmony's in the garage too.
and I'm just always like, what? I gotta tell you guys about my grandma's scam! Okay, so in Chinese culture, you guys burn money for your loved ones, right? Your past loved
Fake
ones.
money.
But it's fake money. So do you buy this fake money? Where do you get this fake money?
Yeah, you buy it.
I mean, how much is it? $1 for $1? I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding. So my mom goes to the funeral home in Korea, and she's got her friend from America with her and her friend from Korea there, right? And she's crying. Like she literally is seeing her mom in the casket, for the first time. She's like just bawling her eyes out. She is not thinking clearly. She's just in shock. She's like uncontrollably crying, right? And then all of a sudden the funeral home tells her,
Hey, you have to give your mom allowance.
so my mom's like, huh? And she goes, you have to write your mom a beautiful letter and give her some cash, an allowance for her to spend. So my mom, she just sits down, they give her a piece of paper and pen. So my mom is like writing this letter to her own mom and she's like crying her eyes out. And she reaches into her purse and she grabs $200 of Korean dollars, so 200 USD, but in Korean money, puts it, you know, on my grandma's chest. And then her friends are like, okay, they take out money, right, put it on my grandma's chest. And then afterwards, after they get out of there, they're like, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. Who's spending this money? Huh?
Right.
Because it ain't grandma. You think grandma's just gonna get up and say, let me go to Target? You think they're gonna bury just cold hard cash with grandma? No. So then the friend from Korea goes, oh, they used to do this long time ago, but I thought like with modern times they don't do this anymore. But essentially, it's just a tip for the funeral home. But they phrase it as your loved one's allowance.
Then take it.
Is that not so scary? A $300 tip to the funeral home that they already paid for all the services for. Yeah, I mean, okay, honestly, if it's like a tipping thing, I love tipping people. Like if it's a tip environment, I'm the type to tip. I'm a heavy tipper. I don't know why, it's just been ingrained, it's been taught in our blood. My sister used to be a waitress when she was in high school, so she's just pounded in my head. You gotta tip the waitresses, you gotta tip these people, tip the hairstylist. I've always learned to tip. But this one, you can just say it's a tip, right? Because my mom, she's a nice person. She would have just tipped them. But just to phrase it like it's your loved one's allowance. So yeah, that's what happened. It was just bizarre. This whole week has been so bizarre. I think I'm getting whiplash from all of this craziness. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments. Have you guys ever been poisoned by a backyard plant? It's said that his grandpa, before even going to the ER, in his state where he was throwing up, took a shovel and deplanted that bitch and got rid of it. Was like, not today, not today. We went to dinner with him the next day, and I don't really talk to his parents that much, right? But when we do talk, it's just A1 communication. And his dad is standing there just telling me, you just never know about tomorrow. Sir, I think you're going through something. Sir, I think something's going on. I hope you guys stay safe. And I'll see you, Bants.